Welcome to Unleashing Happiness, the podcast where I teach you how to change your mindset, change your habits, and actually change your life. Happy Monday. Welcome back to Unleashing Happiness. I'm your host, Cecilia Hendricks, and I'm really excited today to talk about your morning routines. I am sure that if you are here and this is a topic that you're interested in, like improving your life, learning new habits, etc., you probably have heard quite a bit about your morning routine. I may have a slightly different take on the morning routine and the role it needs to play for you, because while I firmly believe that what happens in your morning is important and the focus that you have in your morning definitely steers the rest of your day, I also don't believe that you have to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning and that you have to do this crazy series of events in order to have a good day. I think that puts a lot of pressure on you. And it also takes a lot of hours out of the day that you could be putting towards some other things. And it's really dependent on you, the way that your body works, the way that you wake up, the time that you have in the morning, because optimizing your sleep is super important as well. And I don't want anybody taking away from their sleep so that they can force themselves to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do a series of events to set up the day, when then you just spend your day tired and sluggish because you didn't get enough sleep. Not everyone is designed to wake up early in the morning. There's some people like myself that it comes rather naturally and you're just going to wake up and that's the way things are. I usually wake up before the sun. It's not an issue for me because that's just the way that my body clock works. But I know my spouse, there's no way that he's going to be able to do that. That would completely derail the rest of his day, take away his creativity, and really not give him success, but hinder his success by him forcing himself to wake up that early. There are some things, though, that I believe can really get your day going off on the right foot. And one of those is making sure that you wake up with time to get some sort of routine ready, some sort of focus on your desired outcome in place in the morning, instead of just like rolling out of bed and having to rush to get ready. I don't think that's a great way to set up your day either. But you can ensure that you have, even 45 minutes before you have to leave the house to have some focused time on the end goals that you have, versus having to wake up and have multiple hours to do a very full routine. I also think everybody needs to balance what works for them. Like, I know for me, some of the greatest things for me to do to my morning, in a quick overview of those, but I'll go into these a little bit more as we continue the episode, is getting sunlight first thing in the morning or as early in the morning as possible to my eyes, not through a window, not through sunglasses. It doesn't mean I'm staring at the sun, but I am getting morning light. The other one is adding movement to my morning. So whether I'm doing stretches or yoga, something that, going outside for a walk, but just getting some sort of exercise movement to my morning is fantastic. And then spending time actively choosing to feel my desired outcome. So those can be multiple different techniques. We'll get into those and how to incorporate those into your morning. But sometimes I like to look at it as if I am choosing an outfit. So I'm choosing a mood the same way that I'm choosing an outfit. And then I use my emotional intelligence and emotional regulation tools to make sure that I stay on track for that for the day. I'm able to pick the way that I want to focus. I'm able to choose the things that I want to make sure that I'm working towards, and that I'm not going to let kind of the day-to-day instances or minor annoyances really throw me off track from that. So the way that I want to structure today's episode in talking about you optimizing your morning routine is talking about some of the things that you can add to your morning and the ones that I really highly recommend. I'm definitely not here to tell anybody what they have to do, of course, with their morning, but there are some things that I would highly encourage you to include into a morning routine, at least give it 30 days to see how it feels and what you think. And remember to tie it to your evening routine, or tie your evening routine to your desired morning routine. If you did not listen to last week's episode, it was for optimizing your night routine and making sure that you really do align what you're doing at night with the way that you want to behave the next day, and really optimizing the evening so that you're getting the best sleep. As humans, we definitely need to have good sleep, and the more that you improve your sleep, the more that you'll see improvement in your life overall. It really truly makes you feel better. You'll feel more refreshed, and you'll have more mental clarity. And for sleep, something that's really important is our circadian rhythm. The circadian rhythm is the 24-hour internal clock in our brain, and it regulates the cycles of alertness and sleepiness by responding to light changes in our environment. Our kind of behaviors, our mental clarity, the way that we're feeling are definitely shaped by the Earth's rotation. So it's important to understand the way that you're fitting into that and the improvements that you can make to your own circadian rhythm to make sure that you are alert at the times you want to be alert and sleepy at the times that you want to be sleepy. And one of the greatest and easiest ways to add this to your day is by getting morning sunlight into your eyes as early as possible, preferably before 10 a.m. So what you'll do is when you wake up, you'll definitely go outside. You'll spend anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes out in the sun. This even works if it's cloudy out. So if it's overcast, don't worry about it. What I like to do to get this is to combine it with my physical activity. So when I take my dog on a walk, I go out without sunglasses. And then I'll spend my, 20 to 30 minute walk time actually also getting the morning light. You're not looking directly at the sun. You're just outside with no sunglasses. And this, of course, if you're able to combine this, you can get some outdoor time, which is fantastic. The more that you increase time that you spend outdoors, the likely better you're going to feel overall. And the better that you feel overall, the more you're able to stay focused on your desired outcome. The more you stay focused on your desired outcome, the more that your habits shape into the behaviors that would be compelled by someone who already has that desired outcome. And the more that happens, the more that you become that person and you receive what it is that you're focusing on. So it's like this really great big cycle that you can tie all together. So getting the morning light and including movement with that morning light is just fantastic. And like I said, give this 30 days to try some of this stuff out. The morning light and the movement are definitely two of the things that I extremely highly recommend. If I was going to actually say this is something you need to do, those two and a focus on your desired outcome with some form of a technique, which we're going to get into here in a bit, are the three things that I would say are kind of non-negotiables in the morning. And if you're trying to figure out, well, how do I know how my natural circadian rhythm is doing now? You'll notice if it's off, if you are struggling like with a crash in the afternoon, if you have like extreme sleepiness, if you're unable to stay alert throughout the day, if you have issues with your memory or decision making, you may actually want to also speak to a doctor to see if it's become like a circadian rhythm disorder, especially if you try some of these morning and night routines that I talked about in this episode and in last week's episode to see if you can naturally rebalance your circadian rhythm by doing things at night to get your body ready for bed. And I talk about these more in the other episode, of course, but by, getting off your screens, by not doing a ton of workouts right before bed, by having kind of a wind down time, and also especially the lights, changing the lights in your home so they're not so bright, that's going to naturally affect this rhythm for you and get you ready for a sleep cycle. And then waking up in the morning and getting out into the light kicks it back off for a new day. So everything kind of works together. That's why I did the night routine before doing the morning routine, is because setting yourself up at night for a successful morning is definitely the better way to go. I shared in the last episode that when I was trying to make these changes, I heard everybody talking about a morning routine, and I just really struggled to get myself in line with one. I would wake up and kind of want to put it off because I was tired and I wasn't prepared. My environment wasn't ready for the morning that I wanted to have. I wasn't prepared for it at all. Like mentally, I hadn't changed anything around me to remind me of the type of morning that I wanted to have. And when I talk about the morning, I mean what morning is for you. It really needs to work within your schedule and also kind of the natural ways that you are. I'm a morning bird. I am up. I am awake. I am alert in the morning. It's actually when I get the best kind of work done. It's when I feel the most creative and I'm able to be the most focused is in the morning hours. So I use that to my advantage. My husband, on the other hand, is definitely a night owl. He tends to be more creative later, like late in the afternoon or into the evening, and he stays up quite late. So for him, the way that this is going to work is going to be different. I'm up before, 5 o'clock in the morning. So my morning routine naturally falls into kind of what is this 5 a.m. type of club that people promote all the time, and his does not. That does not mean that he's not able to be successful or even create a morning routine. As we've aged and have had a family, his routine has changed slightly, and he definitely gets up earlier than he did before. But on a natural, sleep cycle, he's not going to wake up until around 9:30 in the morning. That's still his morning routine. He's still able to get up and focus on the things that he wants to, get the morning light, get movement, focus on a desired outcome of his, the same way that somebody waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning would. This belief that you have to be up at 5 a.m. to be successful is, in my opinion, ridiculous. I don't understand where it came from. If you're able to do that, that's fantastic. I know that a lot of successful people do, but I'm also sure there's a lot of successful people who don't. It doesn't have anything to do, and I don't want you to limit yourself or think that you have to shift your natural body clock so drastically that you have to be getting up before 5 o'clock in the morning to see success with a morning routine, because it's just not needed. So the last kind of piece I was talking about, definitely getting the morning light. And now I want to talk about getting movement into your morning. There's a lot of folks who like to get a very intense kind of morning workout. I think that's fantastic. I have kids that I need to get to school. So a longer or more intense or like going somewhere for a morning workout does not really work out for me. It's not something that I'm able to do well within my schedule, but I still like to get movement. So I tend to do either yoga or Pilates at home in the mornings and then walk my dog. That's kind of a win-win. He loves to get out. It's like the highlight of his day, and seeing that joy for him definitely gives me joy. And it's just nice for me to get out and about, get the sun, get some movement. And walking is so wonderful for you just overall, like your mental and physical well-being. So it's nice to be able to get out. But definitely work to find what works for you. Maybe you do want to go to a morning class. Maybe you would like to prefer to go running, or you would like to meet friends for basketball, or whatever kind of thing that it is. Whatever fits into your schedule, it's just important to get some sort of physical movement. Get the blood flowing, get you up. And for myself, I have found that if I wait for a workout later in the day, I'm actually less likely to get it done. But when I do something in the morning, I'm more likely to do a second round of workout later in the day. And I consider a workout anything that's movement. So even a walk just around my block for, the second part of the day, which, trust me, the dog definitely loves. Or I'll head to a workout class. I've got like a Zumba class that I like to take. I tend to do a more low impact, easier workout earlier in the morning, get my body kind of moving, do some stretching, yoga, walks. I like to be gentle in the morning. I'm not as much wanting like a very high intensity type workout first thing. But then later in the day, I do enjoy something that's a little bit more high intensity. And this has been trial and and error for me. One of the really important things with working out is a cycle that I got into for a while. And I'm sure that a lot of people, I would imagine, especially women, have probably fallen into this, is that I was always looking for what was going to burn the most calories. So even if it was a workout that I hated, I just wanted to burn as many calories. And I would force myself to go through these workouts that I absolutely hated. Like for me, I don't like HIIT workouts. It was too intense for me. I always ended up hurting myself because I was trying to go too fast. And I just didn't like it. I physically hated every minute of these classes that I would be in. And then I would end up within a few weeks hurting myself and having to stop doing pretty much anything for weeks until I healed whatever ailment I had given myself. So what I found, it was stop doing that. Start doing workouts that I actually enjoy, even at the moments that they're really hard. Because of course, there's still moments of any kind of workout that I'm not really loving what I'm doing. I still could be oh, this is really hard. My heart rate is super up. I'm sweating, but there's still a difference between something that I enjoy on some sort of level that I can say, oh, this is hard right now, but I enjoy the outcome at the end enough to continue going, versus something that I just absolutely hate and is making me kind of miserable to do it. And I did that so much for so long with workouts. And so when I embarked on this journey, I was I'm going to really focus on things that I enjoy, on end results that even if it's hard, I'm still enjoying myself. I'm still able to see the positive in it. And I'm not forcing kind of enjoying it. And I found some workouts were that way. I would either end up hurting myself. It was too much for me. It was just not something that I enjoyed. And I think anybody who has done a workout that they hated, they probably know exactly what I'm talking about. So when I started to really change my life and the habits that I had, I found that lighter impact in the morning worked much better for me. I felt better overall throughout the day. I had more energy. And then later in the day, I was able to focus on something more high intensity and had the energy to put into that high intensity workout, after my workday had ended. Our third kind of non-negotiable is spending time focused on your desired outcome. So there's a few ways to do this. I always recommend and try to focus on choosing what my thought is going to be when I first wake up in the morning. And it gets easier, I promise you that, but it can be a little tough when you first get started. But what we're doing is we're changing our habits. So if you are a regular listener, I talk a lot about the habit loop. So each of our habits starts with a cue. We go into a routine and we get a reward. And when we're looking to change our habits, we want to kind of switch up that routine and what we're focused on within the routine. So when you start, you'll have a cue. In our morning, it's of course this waking up. And then you fall into a routine. So there's likely a routine that you're doing now in your morning. And if your life is honestly not going the way that you want it to, then it's time to change those routines. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's kind of probably why most people landed here, is because they want to change something in their lives. Either you want a big drastic change or you want something a little bit smaller. You're looking for more energy throughout the day, to have more fulfillment, to feel more loved, attractive, desired, whatever kind of thing it is that you're seeking. That's likely why you found yourself here, because the whole purpose of the podcast and the content that I put out is working on changing our mindset, focusing on changing our habits, and literally that actually directs into changing your life, into having a more fulfilled life, into having more joy and happiness in your everyday, and to feeling more energized. And when you feel better about yourself and the life that you live, it really kind of goes out into the world. It's like this field around you that people are attracted to and they want to be around. And you'll just find that the world reacts to you differently when you have this love for yourself and you just feel good in your own skin and in the life that you're living. And a key to that is changing kind of these first thoughts and moods that you have when you wake up in the morning. It's truly like you're deciding to choose your mood or your feelings about the day like you would an outfit. The way that I changed this routine for myself, so we have the cue and now we're going to focus on changing our routine, was by replacing where my phone was with a sticky note. That sticky note would have kind of a little message from me to me on it about the way I wanted to feel and that I was making changes in my life. So when I would reach over for my phone, I would feel the sticky note instead. If you use your phone for like an alarm or something like that, you can always put the sticky note still on the front. For myself, and I'm sure for many others, just feeling the sticky note is actually enough to trigger the reminder in my own brain. I don't actually need to usually read the sticky note to remember what it says. And this is how that ties back to setting yourself up for success the night before. So again, that's in last week's episode, much more, but you always want to set yourself up in the best ways that you can. So whether that's putting an outfit out, like a, workout outfit on your bathroom counter, putting sticky notes, you can put a message on your mirror. There's like these crayons that you can buy that you can write on glass. And I'll use those to write messages on my mirror. They clean off really easily. So I don't mind using those. But you can put messages for yourself that kind of remind you either of an affirmation you want to tell yourself. If there's a small visualization technique that you want to do first thing in the morning, that's also fantastic. But before you get up out of bed, work on choosing something that you're going to say to yourself that's in alignment with the person that you want to be. It's in alignment with your desired outcome. A lot of times the affirmations that I like to use is that every day in every single way, everything continues to get better and better. Or I just say something like, today is a really good day. Today is a phenomenal, amazing day. And at first, sometimes it felt fake. And I was like, why am I doing this? I feel kind of cheesy and ridiculous. I'm too old for this. But then it just started to actually happen. I noticed that on the days that I focused this way and that I made this choice, those days were naturally going better for me. Like I wasn't having to force anything. They were just better. And so the better that those went, the more natural gratitude that I had. I started adding daily joys to my day. I had things to look forward to. There was so much that I got to do within that day. And I knew as an overall human being, I was going to feel better because I was sleeping better. I was getting more movement. I was getting out in the sun. I spent a lot more time outside. I had my daily joys. And that just made my day go so much better. And the better that my day went, the better I felt in the morning. And the better I felt in the morning, the better my day went. I do want to pause here just to make a small request that if you are finding this podcast helpful and this content helpful, please share it out with somebody. It is so fantastic to know that you found the message useful enough that you want to share it with somebody else. So if there is someone in your life that you think would benefit from this kind of information and this kind of help, definitely please share it with them. It'll help them by showing them kind of ways that they can improve their day. And it definitely supports me as well by getting my message out to more people. And I would be internally grateful. So a quick recap of kind of our morning stuff is that you want to make a choice of the thought you're going to have as soon after waking up as possible. So either an affirmation, do a breathing technique, visualization, whatever it is that puts you in a better feeling mood, no matter how small. Then from there, you're going to work to get morning sun as early as possible. Spend between 5 and 30 minutes outside in the morning sun with no sunglasses so that you can kick off your circadian rhythm and start getting more quality sleep. And the last kind of non-negotiable of today's episode is making sure that you're including some movement into your morning, some sort of physical activity, even if it's only starting with a 5-minute yoga that you find on YouTube. There's tons of stuff. Oh my gosh, YouTube is such a great resource. There's so much on YouTube that you could do. 5 minutes to start is really all that you need. Just know that you're giving that to yourself. That's truly a gift that you're giving to you so that you can live a better life, and recognize that you're showing up for you, which is absolutely amazing and is definitely one of the first steps to do to seeing great improvements in your own life. So you've got the 3 that you should definitely add. These do not need to take much time. If you spend, let's say, even 15 minutes going outside for a walk, which then also includes your physical activity plus your morning sun, and the 1 minute when you wake up, choosing kind of a thought into focus, like even 1 to 5 minutes to focus on this, you are only adding 20 minutes to your morning. So it's not about needing hours in the morning to get this like huge routine through. You need to make this work for your own life. My morning routine is a little bit longer. Like I said, I'm awake pretty early. I have time in the morning. Some mornings I don't, so I kind of adjust what I'm doing, but those 3 non-negotiables are always there. But some other things that I like to do is I do like to journal, either about how I'm feeling or kind of what I want to focus on. I also really enjoy to read. So I do read in the mornings, and then I like to write out a to-do list. That one's pretty big for me. I'm a list person. I like to know the things that I need to get done that day. So I will write myself out a to-do list. I always give myself small wins. So like making the bed, walking the dog, all of that stuff makes it to my to-do list. And then I can cross it off as I go. And it's like, yep, there we go. I'm getting through my list. Nothing goes on my list that I'm not getting done that day. Unless something drastically throws off my day, that list is going to be completed. It's also teaching me how to show up for myself, which is super important. I want to make sure that I'm keeping the promises to myself that I make. And that's a huge part of all of this, is saying, I'm going to do this. I have agreed to do this for myself. And if I make a promise to myself, I'm going to do it. I also have the best mental focus and clarity for any kind of business workings in the morning. It's my quiet time that I like to focus on stuff for here. So I'll work on upcoming podcast episodes. I'll start to write out an email that I'm going to send out to my followers, or start to outline what type of videos I want to do for like YouTube or my TikTok channel, because I just tend to have a lot more ideas coming out in the morning and I'm much more focused. So I like to spend, probably between 30 and 45 minutes working on business happenings, making sure that I'm checking my email, that I'm responding to people. That's a really good time for me to be able to focus. I don't have family up. I don't have people kind of vying for my attention, and I'm not expected to be, online for my 9 to 5 at that point either. But again, it's all finding what works for you. If you're someone who has more mental clarity later in the day, keep your morning routine rather simple. Do something that triggers you getting started for the day, that really focuses on this end desire of yours. And then you have kind of a start for your day. Make sure that you have chosen some daily joys to focus on, so that you're doing things for you that you really enjoy, and that you're choosing this mood that you're going to have. I also like to do a brief meditation in the morning. My meditation is definitely more focused towards focusing on my breath versus worrying about a direct kind of outcome. It's really just to quiet my mind and to relax. And so I always return to just focusing on my breath, noticing where the breath comes into my body. And I do that usually for about 10 to 15 minutes each morning. You can also do a visualization technique or a feeling type of technique. Go into your meditation and then imagine an outcome that would imply that you are this person that you want to be. So you're truly just imagining being that person right now. Don't put pressure on yourself of whether you're doing something right or wrong. It's really just enjoying that moment and enjoying feeling that you are the person that you want to be. And from there, you just go and enjoy your day. It really comes back to having the daily joys, focusing on your habits, and making small, sustainable changes that are aligned with who you want to be. And I promise you, this will have the biggest impact on your life that you can imagine. The changes that you'll see, the way that the world is reflected to you, it's quite remarkable. I hope that you found today beneficial. I would love to hear from you once you start implementing. Well, I'd love to hear from you anytime. unleashinghappiness@ceciliahendricks.com. But once you start implementing these and you're doing them in your own life and you've changed your evening routine and your morning routine, I would really love to hear how that's going for you. Please shoot me a note and let me know if you have questions or you're struggling. Definitely reach out. More than happy to help. It is unleashinghappiness@ceciliahendricks.com again. I'll put that down below in the show notes. But I would love to hear how it's going for you. I would love to hear the ways that you're incorporating positive changes into your own life and what changes you're seeing in your world because of that. I would also like to take just a quick moment to share that I am launching a course. I have put all of my information out online by all means, right? But I have created a course that shows you actually how to transform. So it's truly the accountability, complete step by step, and put together in a way that you're able to transform into this person that you really want to be. That gives a little bit more kind of step-by-step guides and a little bit more honest hand-holding versus just kind of the informational base that you may be getting here. So if you want to check those out, I'll put the link down below. If you have any questions about it, let me know. I've got some special pricing running until November 6th. So definitely check that out, at least see what you think. If you have questions, let me know. And I hope you have an absolutely beautiful week. Thank you again for joining me today. If you'd like to learn more about all things going on with me, go ahead and visit my website at ceciliahendricks.com.